Hello, everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you for having us, Age Friendly. So my name is Cassandra. I am with an organization called Age Friendly Greater Pittsburgh, and we have been around for about 10 years, and we are very fortunate to have Pitt School of Social Work as our research partner. We work with Dr. Engel and Daniel Lee, and our work has just really benefited from the collaboration with an academic partner like Pitt School of Social Work. So flourishing as we age, we have not really used the word flourishing, but that is what our work is about. And before I dive into what we really do, I just want to center us all on the fact that this work is about us. It's about me, a 29-year-old who's feeling a little bit insecure that I feel too young to be a presenter. This work is about us. It's sometimes for aging, it's easy for us to say it's about those older people, right? Or those younger people, depending on what you're talking about. But this work is about all of us, and we're all impacted by aging and the ways in which our society has been built to promote flourishing aging and ways that it's been built to hinder really positive aging. So just think about your own age and what you need to age in your community. So the age-friendly movement, we are about making our region more inclusive and respectful of all ages so that people can flourish. We are part of an international network that was started by the World Health Organization around 2007. And the framework is I think of it as, it's called the 8 Domains of Livability. I think of it as sort of social determinants of health met with community planning in some ways. It thinks about the built environment, so is our housing accessible and welcoming as we age? Our transportation systems. So it's the built environment met with the social environment. So are there opportunities for engagement across our lifespan? Are there chances for us to connect with people of different ages? So we're inspired by this framework. Our work is really based off of this, and when we're out in the community, we're not putting this out in front of a bunch of people. But this is sort of at the core of what we do. So why aging? Why should we care about aging? And why should we care about it here in Pittsburgh? So I just have a few stats. By 2035 in our country, older adults are expected to outnumber children. And as I went to pull this stat from the census page, which is luckily still functioning, I was worried we were going to lose access to census data. The number, this says 2035, it's actually expected to be closer to 2034. So very quickly, we will be having an outsized number of older adults compared to children in the country. We also know, thanks to our friends at UXR, that nearly 20% of our Allegheny County population is over the age of 65. We have one of the most stable older adult populations, so people who have sort of stayed in their homes, in their communities for decades. We are second oldest in the country next to Palm Beach, Florida, which is a very different place. It's a lot of people who are choosing to move there and retire there, so there's a lot of new builds. It's much wealthier, it's more white. So we know that Palm Beach has the highest amount of older adults, but we know that Pittsburgh is sort of a prime place for us to talk about aging and thriving in community as we get older. And then we also know that 80% of adults want to connect with people in different age groups. Sort of as we move through our lives, we sort of tend to stay in our age silos. Like a lot of our peers and friends are around the same age. That sort of starts from when you're a child up until when you're in your 80s or 90s. Most of your peers or most of your friends are the same age as you. But we know that people want to connect across difference, and one of those differences is age. So what stops us from flourishing as we age? It's ageism. Are people familiar with ageism? Yes. So ageism is defined as how we think, or stereotypes, how we feel, prejudice, and act, discrimination, towards others and towards ourselves. So we really emphasize the ourselves point because we know that we sort of should ourselves or still ourselves. So, someone might say like, wow, you're still working, and to someone in their 70s, you're still working, shouldn't you be retired? Or, oh, I really should be married by this age, right? We sort of have all these assumptions that we make about others and ourselves based on age, and it impacts us. So I have a few examples. This one, I'm a millennial. Millionaire tells millennials, if you want a house, stop buying avocado toast. So there's this sort of underlying stereotype that millennials aren't as thrifty or don't know how to save money, rather than calling out the economic reasons why I'm not able to afford a house. I don't know if people have been on Zillow recently, but you cannot find a house for $22. So, or 22 times 12, whatever that is in a year. So we know that there's all these assumptions about millennials. This is a practice in a lot of schools, that a lot of schools just celebrated the 100th day of school. Some schools will have all the kids dress as a 100-year-old. This is probably not the most accurate depiction of any older person, let alone a 100-year-old. There might be one 100-year-old who might look like this, but we know that not everyone looks like this, and there's a lot of underlying assumptions with this. There's, she's sort of hunched over, obviously is trying to mimic having a disability, which we know that not only older people have disabilities. She has medication, she has life alert, she's all wrinkled, her hair is up. We know that this is not an accurate depiction of aging, yet this is something that we're teaching to kids. And then I went on Reddit, which is like the worst place imaginable of humanity, but ageism is there as well. Do millennials really think that boomers should quit their jobs? And one of the top replies was, boomers don't have to retire, but if they could stop killing the new innovative work while they ride it out until their retirement, that would be great. Wow, that is really nasty. And this is something I put this in because a lot of times our workplaces is one of the only times when we're really interacting with people of different ages. And there's all of these really nasty stereotypes about, boomers should be retiring and millennials or Gen Z are more innovative. But we actually know that more age-diverse workplaces are more effective because we have people who are innovating in different ways across the lifespan. I have like 10 more slides of just examples like this that I will spare you all. But once you start looking for all of these things out in media, you will see it everywhere. Especially if you ever go to like Sephora, the like beauty industry is a huge culprit of anti-aging, especially for women. So this is like more than just like a fun little social media exercise. We know that negative age beliefs can take over 7 years off of our life. This is research from Dr. Becca Levy at Yale. Negative age beliefs are harming our health and they're holding us back. We also know that someone doesn't all of a sudden turn 60 and experience discrimination unless you're, a wealthy white man. We know that ageism compounds with all of these other isms, racism, sexism, ableism, low income. We know that it compounds with all of these things and it impacts our life expectancy. So this is some great research from 2019 from School of Social Work talking about life expectancy in the city of Pittsburgh. So the highest sort of range is that non-Black Pittsburghers who are people of color, so Asian, mixed race, Latino, Indigenous folks, men in that group can expect to live to 61 in our city, all the way up to white women who can expect to live to 78. That is wild. That is such a wide discrepancy, and we know that ageism is one important part of why this is, and it really intersects with a lot of other forms of discrimination that are preventing us from flourishing. So ageism limits our potential. What do we do about it? We are very fortunate to work with Pitt School of Social Work to really help us figure out how to research this and how to evaluate this, but we're in the business of being boots on the ground, as my colleague Randy just said to me earlier. So we have a lot of community programs, and I've invited Randy Vega, who is our community engagement manager, to represent Age Friendly on the panel, because she runs a lot of these programs and really can speak to flourishing as we age. But a big part of our work is amplifying resident voice. It's very easy for me to present and talk about what aging as a 29-year-old white woman looks like, but that is not the experience of a 70-year-old who lives in McKeesport who's Black. So we really take the business very seriously of amplifying resident voice and centering those stories. So we create opportunities for dialogue, community projects, and empowerment through programs like Age Friendly Neighborhoods, which is 3 neighborhoods where we provide funding and let them sort of pick intergenerational projects that they want to bring to life. We also have a community panel, which is a group of 10 paid consultants, paid by us, who provide feedback to different organizations. So sometimes organizations will say, what are older people saying about the PRT bus line redesign or the massive cuts? I could answer, but it's better if they go directly to 10 people who represent a lot of different neighborhoods. We also have a group of age-friendly scholars who are undergrad and graduate students who are learning about ageism and thinking about how ageism impacts younger people as well. And we have a lot of new visuals. So the stories that we tell, the narrative that we put out about aging is really important. We just launched a new tool called our Age Inclusive Photo Bank, and it is 100 free photos of real people in our region living their lives. Flourishing. And we think these photos, getting them out in front of people, is really important to show that we know this is reality, and we also know that we have to do better in supporting people to thrive as they age, so that we can all look like this really cool woman playing pickleball, who I think was in her 80s, or this family on the bottom left who's out for a walk. So this tool is free. Feel free to use it in presentations and things like that. And yeah, that's all I have. Like I said, Randy Vega will represent Age Friendly on the panel later to really talk about some personal stories of resident voice and flourishing. And if you want to learn more, we'll be here for the rest of the day. Thank you.